What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1983 movie Peggy Sue Got Married. So in this movie, Peggy Sue faints at a high school reunion, and when she wakes up she finds herself in her own past just before she finishes high school. So I really like this movie quite a bit. I think it's a really good movie. It's got a really good story. I love the 50s aesthetic and everything. It really brings the look and feel of the 50s, and they do a really good job with that. And I think Francis Ford Coppola's directing is really amazing. I might have mispronounced his last name. I always end up doing that, but he's really good at directing and everything. He's one of the greatest directors of all time for sure, and his directing in this movie is very good and everything. And I also feel like this is one of his most underrated movies. Like, people don't talk about this one and everything. And I think it's a pretty underrated film and everything. The cast in here are excellent. You got Kathleen Turner as Peggy Sue, and she's just absolutely great in here. And then Nicolas Cage as Charlie is great too. He has this funny voice and everything. Every time he talks in this movie, I almost start to laugh because his voice is so funny. But Nicolas Cage does bring a sincerity to the character and really brings him to life really well and does a great job. I mean, it's a really good performance. His voice sounds funny to me, but that is how people did talk sometimes back then too. But Nicolas Cage is a little bit over the top in this movie. But I love him, like I do everything he's in. He's just one of those actors that you can't help but love and everything. And also, it's got a really good who's who of a supporting cast. You got Jim Carrey in here in a really small role. He doesn't do much in here, but every time he's on screen, he just oozes that charm and charisma that Jim Carrey brings to every movie and everything. You can't help but just love seeing him in here. And you also got Catherine Hicks from the show Seventh Heaven, who is just an actress that I really like. I love her on Seventh Heaven. I love a lot of movies that she's in, so I enjoy her and everything, seeing her in here. And Helen Hunt has a small role in here before she became famous and everything, so it has a really decent little cast and everything. So but the movie is mostly focused on Kathleen Turner's Peggy Sue, and she is really good in this movie and everything. And she just carries the movie really, really well and everything. You can't help but love her and feel bad for her and want her situation to get better and stuff, and they do a good job with it and everything. And the soundtrack is really good for this too. It fits the movie really well. It's got a lot of good 50s music, a lot of really good 50s music in this movie. There's a lot of good songs in here. And the doo-wop scene with Nicolas Cage and Jim Carrey and their friends and stuff is so much fun to watch when they do the little doo-wop scene and stuff, and it's just really, really fun moment and everything. And I love the song too. I don't even remember what song it is, but every time I watch it, I just can't help but enjoying it. I love this type of music anyway, though. The pacing is really good too. I'll say that the movie does always fly by, which is kind of an issue, but also isn't, because it's entertaining throughout the whole movie and everything. But I do feel like I do have some issues with some things with the pacing, but it is mostly amazing and stuff. It doesn't overstay its welcome for sure and everything. And I think the relationship with Peggy and Charlie is pretty well written and everything, although I do wish that they would have done a little bit more to flesh it out and stuff, and I think the movie would have been a little bit better. And also, when she sees and talks to her relatives that passed away, it gets really emotional. They do a good job at bringing emotion to the movie and everything, but there's also some humor there too. She goes to visit her grandpa to try to get her sent back to her own time and stuff, and everything. And it's just really kind of a funny scene and stuff when Charlie shows up and takes her out of there and stops her before she could actually be taken away. So we don't know if the experiment would have worked or not. More than likely not, but it was just a funny little thing that happened in the movie and everything. And as far as negatives go, I will say that while I love the first two acts of the movie, the ending is pretty rushed, and it is really predictable. You know exactly how it's going to end and stuff. I remember the first time I watched it, I knew exactly where it was going and everything. I'm not saying that the ending isn't satisfying either, though, because you kind of know what to expect and you get it, and when you do get it, it is satisfying, but I also do think it takes away from it just a little bit because it is really predictable and everything, and the ending just feels rushed. The way it played out and stuff, it just kind of felt rushed. I think it could have been a little bit better. I think if they would have focused a little more on the relationship between Peggy and Charlie, I think it would have worked a little bit better, but I also get what they were trying for and everything too. She wanted to try to date a boy that she had regrets of not giving a chance and stuff, and to find out that that guy was a jerk and she was better off with Charlie. I get what they were doing there and stuff. I just feel like it could have been handled a little bit better. But that being said, I think this is a really fun movie. It's very underrated and stuff, and it's got a really good story and an awesome cast and everything. Everybody plays their roles really well. Some of them I wish were in the movie more than others, like Jim Carrey and Catherine Hicks. I wish they would have had much bigger parts, but they were really good in the little roles that they were given and stuff. And Kathleen Turner and Nicolas Cage are both really great in their lead roles. And it's definitely an underrated movie, so I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. Even though I gave it a 7.5, I still really enjoy the movie. The only reason it kind of got that low of a rating is mainly because the ending is so rushed, and I felt like the ending could have just been a little bit better. But all in all, this is a really good movie, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen Peggy Sue Got Married, because it is definitely worth a watch and everything. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
Hee hee hee!